Good, happy Sunday evening, March 6th, 2022. I'm Riley King. Welcome to this Sunday evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Sunday evening, so let's get started right now. First up, New Hampshire gas prices reach $4 for the first time in more than a decade. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Folks are paying more at the pump, that's for sure. But imagine if your gas tank took 120 gallons. That's the reality for the trucking industry right now, hitting independent drivers where it hurts.
It's very expensive. Look at this. One drive is shut down today.
Right now, man, with the rates going and the fuel going up, it's pretty hard to really try to make a profit.
According to AAA, the average price for a gallon of gas in New Hampshire is $4.01. That's up 46 cents from just last week. And it's just a few cents under the state record of $4.05 set back in 2008. And for some independent truck drivers like Randy Starks of North Carolina, fuel cost is considered part of his daily overhead.
On one side, I pay $660 to fill my truck up at 120 gallons. So, yeah, that's a lot.
The Biden administration is expected to release 60 million barrels of oil reserves to help stabilize prices. Masood Sami is a retired Southern New Hampshire University professor of international business and a former senior economist for OPEC. He says the move should have a short-term effect.
The supply increases, so that should take the pressure out of the market. But how long would that happen? That's the question. Depends how long this crisis with Russia would last.
Sami says monetary policy, like raising interest rates, is the first step to easing inflation because, like it or not, it causes some form of economic slowdown, which can lower oil prices.
As economic slowdown happens, then demand for oil, for transportation, other would go down, and so that affects the demand for oil.
When that relief might hit the pumps, that remains to be seen.
I think this is a very fluid situation. It's going to take a little bit of time to figure out how things will resolve itself.
Jason King, WMUR News.
Okay, there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire senators virtually meet with Ukraine president. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
To be a part of the team at Caesar Chimney Service, the only prerequisite is be just a little bit crazy. We can train you to do everything that we...
Senators Jeanne Shaheen and Maggie Hassan were two of nearly 300 members of Congress who met virtually with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky Saturday to discuss how the U.S. can better aid Ukraine as it tries to stave off Russian invasion.
There is strong support for American funding to Ukraine. I expect it to be part of our omnibus budget package that we hope to pass this week.
The administration has requested over $10 billion in aid to Ukraine. About half of it's humanitarian and about half is military.
When asked about the type of military support his country needs, Zelensky told Congress drones and planes would be the most helpful. However, the U.S. cannot send American jets as Ukrainian pilots are not familiar with the technology.
We talked about the potential to get them some Russian jets because that's what their pilots have trained on.
Senator Shaheen co-signed a letter asking the Department of Defense to help facilitate the transfer of such jets from Poland to Ukraine, while the U.S. would replenish Poland's fleet with American-made F-16s. Zelensky also asked lawmakers to help secure Ukraine's skies by enforcing a no-fly zone. But the U.S. and its NATO allies say that is something they cannot provide.
What we want to be very careful about is not further escalating the situation in Ukraine. And a no-fly zone would put NATO pilots or U.S. pilots in direct conflict with Russians.
American soldiers will not be deployed to Ukraine.
And President Zelensky also urged lawmakers to sanction Russia's oil and gas sector, which has so far escaped the mounting sanctions imposed on Russia by not only the U.S., but several other countries as well. No word from either senator on if Russian oil will be further sanctioned. Live in studio, Scott Cook, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Dartmouth students team up with local community to hold vigil for Ukraine. Let's take a listen to that video from NBC 5 Vermont.
All right, breakfast is ready. Oh. Whoops.
Other examples of our community standing in solidarity with Ukraine.
Tonight, college students and community members in Hanover coming together to show their support. NBC5's John Hawks was at a vigil and has more.
Upper Valley residents and students holding a vigil to show their solidarity with Ukraine during the war with Russia. The Hanover Green host to a We Stand With Ukraine vigil filled with Ukrainian flags and signs. Co-founder of the Ukrainian Student Association at Dartmouth, Xenia Dubrova, who is from Ukraine and family still lives in cities being shelled by Russia.
We are here as students. We have to, stay on campus and study, do our thing, but also we have this urge to do something for our country as well. So this is definitely, we're trying to do whatever we can. This is like our part.
While still managing a full course load, Dubrova says that she checks in with family back home and thinks about them consistently.
All I know is that this is like the 8th day of the war in Ukraine. So this is like pretty much the only thing that we can think about right now.
She helped organize the vigil to help put her mind at ease.
I think part of it is a selfish reason, really, to sort of get our minds, off, to stop reading the news for an hour at least and try to do something else and focus our efforts somewhere else, because otherwise it's just this whole cycle of reading the news and having mental breakdowns and stuff like that.
The event is a local iteration of Stand With Ukraine peace protests. Organizers hope that the event will motivate more people to donate to organizations helping Ukrainian refugees.
I feel that people all over the world, including the Upper Valley, need to stand up and help the Ukrainian people with money.
Community members have personal ties to Ukraine, making the vigil that much more important.
It's a beautiful country with beautiful rivers and very beautiful people. And we want to live in peace. We want to be in a European Union.
Many in the crowd know people that are Ukrainian and have a message for them.
I would like them to know that we're standing with them as their democracy gets trampled on.
In Hanover, John Hawks, NBC5 News.
Okay, there you go on that video and that report. Manchester man injured after crashing motorcycle into tree. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
This morning, a motorcyclist has serious injuries after a crash in Manchester. It happened around 5:30 last night on Island Pond Road near Coas Avenue. Police say a 33-year-old man crashed into a tree. Investigators are looking into why that rider went off the road.
Okay, there you go on that video and that report. U.S. men's national amputee soccer team trains for nationals at Hooksett Sports Dome. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
The U.S. men's national amputee soccer team is training for nationals in Mexico happening on March 16th. The players from all over the Northeast have been prepping at the sports dome in Hooksett for 8 weeks. Each of them was either born without a limb or lost one in an accident. Goalie Corey Laycock is from right here in New Hampshire. The players hope to raise awareness about the amputee sports world. They say being an amputee doesn't mean you can't live life to the fullest or follow your dreams.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Have a great evening. Good night and goodbye.